Yeah, we're gonna close the blinds. Don't look at me. I hope I'm in frame. I'm not gonna check. If you're doing NaNoWriMo and you don't have a tracker, I get it. The goal is to hit 50K, and if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't, right? Hear me out. Having a tracker can make things so much more addicting and satisfying, and not everybody's goal is 50K. Today I'm going to show you how to create your own NaNoWriMo word count tracker using Excel or my preference, Google Sheets, which is free. Fear not, I will show you everything step by step, and by the end you're going to have a tracker which is not only colorful and satisfying to fill in, but it will cheer you on and encourage you throughout your NaNoWriMo journey this year. I've made this particular tracker available for free online, so if you don't feel like making it yourself, feel free to make yourself a copy of that. The link is in the description. But there are a vast number of ways that you can track your progress during Nano. I personally love Excel. I love using Google Sheets in particular because it saves your data from previous years. That being said, I've seen a lot of really cool dot journal trackers or just paper trackers that do the trick. I just love data and I lose journals, so I choose to go the numerical route and just make it colorful. So let's talk data. If you're new here, I'm Jenny. I'm one half of Jen Squared, and we are hobby authors writing our very first fantasy romance novels. I have just finished my very first draft of my first Jesus, how many times am I going to say first? I've just finished the first draft of my first ever novel, and I'm moving into outlining. It is a trilogy in my plan, and Jen, the other half of this channel, is deep into writing the scene cards for her second book, where she's already completed her first manuscript, the first draft of her first novel, also writing a trilogy. This channel is designed to bring you along the journey of what it's like to write novels as a hobby, also for the memes, and potentially encourage you to embark on such an endeavor of honing this skill of storytelling with us, if you want to. But if you just want to watch us do it, that's also fine. You are welcome to stay. You may stay. Please stay. Desperate. She is very desperate. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the pie chart. The pie chart is for if you have a specific word count goal that you'd like to see a visual representation of you filling in essentially the circle with your words. So we have word count goal, that is captured in the pie chart. So you would insert a chart and then you would select pie chart. And then once you click these three little dots, you can edit the chart. You select the labels, which is A1, A2, and then you select the values, which is B1, B2. You can customize your chart. I don't really do anything except for the pie slices, so you can select word count and word count goal, which is your labels right here. And I just changed the color to match the color that I put behind them. In B1, I have a calculation for the week totals so that when I'm putting in my day totals, which I'll get to, it automatically will update this, which will automatically update my chart. So over here you can see the calendar. We've got the days of the week at the top. We've got the numbers of the days. This is for November 2025. I also have a percentage here, which will show you the percentage of your total words that you've written and how much of that you completed that week. It's just an extra fun little thing. So essentially, let's say I wrote 1,200 words on the first day of NaNoWriMo, it would start to fill it in. So we've got the 1,200 words. In B2, it has my word count goal. So this number is customized minus B1, which is the total words that we've written. And that will make it so that the word count goal part of the pie chart will be decreasing while the word count number will be increasing. So let's just show you how things will look with a couple more words in there. Okay, so as you can see, the percentages are changing according to how much you've written that week. You see your week total, you see that this is automatically updating. So that's what we'll do with these cells. When it comes to the totals and the averages and the percentages, we have a separate equation here. So the week one, it is only one day, so that's not very interesting to look at, but you can see equals sum, and then I've highlighted the row in brackets. You can say I7, and then you'll use the colon, and then you'll say O7. This O is not a 0, it's O for the column and 7 for the row. And that will give you the sum. Percentage is just division of the month total. So basically, you can do this one of two ways. So you can say the week total divided by B1, or you could do the week total divided by, and I have a month total down here as well, and it also has a daily average, which we'll get to next. So in the daily average, this is a big one, basically what you have is the average equation, so equals average, bracket, and then every single day is included. It's typical for a NaNoWriMo that your goal is to write 50,000 words. So in order to write 50,000 words per day, you'd have to write 1,666 words. So if you see throughout the month that you're not quite hitting that, then you can have a little bit more motivation to write a little bit more. I have the colors that I used in this one highlighted down here. If you want to make this yourself, you can, but I will make this a template available for making a copy. In order to get a copy of this, you'll need to make a Google email if you don't already have one, and you'll have to open your drive, and you'll just have to have a drive. So in order to have a drive, you have to have a Google email. If you get a Google email, you'll go to these little dots at the very top. It'll show all your Google apps, and you'll click Drive. You'll click the link that I share with you in the description. It'll take you to a page, and it'll offer for you to make a copy. And it'll take you to this exact page. I will remove all of the numbers and everything that I've included here, and you'll see these like divide by zero equation value situations. These are the colors exactly that I used for this particular template. I went with a peach grove vibe. I also have two other sheets with different colors if you prefer those, or just to kind of give you inspiration for how to create your own style. Alternatively, if you do not have a word count goal for the month, it might be nice just to track how I did for the J2 June challenge this year, which was just to see how much I wrote every week. So instead of having a pie chart, I just saw how much I wrote per week to kind of motivate me to beat the week before. That didn't really happen. At this point, I hit manuscript writing, so like I was on a roll, but it's also just kind of interesting to look at the data that way. And in my case, I had scene cards or manuscript. This challenge was split among the two. So of the scene cards, I wrote 48% of my words this month for scene cards, and then the other almost half I wrote for manuscript. So that was a fun little thing. In order to make this graph, what I did was I ended up selecting the data. So I did a column chart. We've got different series. The series, I just, to keep things simple, did the week one totals. So I4 is here, I4, and so on. So that was all of the week totals. There was a week that had 2 days, so it doesn't really count. But I still included it because I felt like it looked good. Kind of looks like a rude gesture, actually, but in any case. Yeah, so I guess it depends on what your goal is. Typically, I think people like to have a 50,000K word count goal. My first ever NaNoWriMo, I did 100,000 because I was crazy. And I didn't hit it, but I hit still higher than 50K, so that was good. I'm not sure if I did a good job kind of explaining this. I hope that worked out. Let me know in the comments if you need me to do this again, if you want to make it yourself, but it is available, so you won't have to do that. That's how you customize your NaNoWriMo word count progress tracker using Excel or Google Sheets. Available now below. If you're asking yourself, do I really need a tracker such as this one? It seems excessive. Firstly, you're right. Secondly, let me give you my pitch. Just hear me out. After a long day of connecting with our hobbies, What is the best feeling? Something to show for it. I'm not Italian. Okay. I say that with love. Hobby crocheters have some knots that they've altered. Hobby bakers have ingredients that they've altered. Hobby walk on the beach at sunset walkers have a step count. Hobby athletes have training and then obviously a winning score to show for their hard work. Hobby authors have words, baby. Listen, it's normal to question what will work for you, especially if this is your first nano and you're not sure how to approach it. And maybe this tracker is a bit too specific. Maybe it's a little too daunting, a little too overwhelming. I get that. Maybe you just want something that's a little bit more physically creative. That's something like that's in a dot journal or on a piece of paper in your normal journal that you've made and created with like pretty markers and things. Totally understandable. I just happen to be an Excel girly and I make it pretty with colors and I get specific. Please don't feel like that's what you have to do. It's easy. I'm already on my laptop. I'm already typing. Just move screens and go into my tracker and type my word count at the end of the night. But maybe you're more like Jen, who is a journal girly, which she talks about in this video. But you won't know until you try. So let's try. Let's see how it goes. If halfway through you find you're not filling it out and you feel like you would rather, like color in a box with a different cool marker or like have a gradient or something like that, then you can switch. Absolutely. No pressure. It's a hobby, not that deep. Let's have fun with it. Let's keep it colorful. Or don't. You can do monochromatic or just numbers. The main thing here is figuring out what means you want to use to give yourself a pat on the back for your hard work during Nano, regardless of how many words your word count goal is, or if you don't have a word count goal, a win is a win. If you have a tried and true method like I do for tracking your progress, please share it below. You never know, another hobby author may come across your comment and it might inform their process for years to come. I know that has happened to me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, especially if you've hung out with me this long. You're the bomb. The best. If you hit that like button, you will help 2 hobby authors with their mission to share their creative journeys for anybody who may like to know that it is absolutely doable. We both have 9-to-5s and arguably interesting lives. I would say so. Please subscribe so that you don't miss out on following that journey and the chaos, the camaraderie that it brings. Ew. Bye. Oh, it's so dumb. So dumb, but so good.